Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well on this Friday before Thanksgiving. Actually, Veterans Day. I'm all screwed up right now. Anyway, so today I want to talk about what we're doing on hiring and hiring strategy. So, for those who might not remember, Omer's been in business for about 6.5 years now, coming up with 7 years in March timeframe. So, we've hired quite a few people. In the early days, it was just me working out of my house, which is great. It wasn't the garage; it was the living room actually. But and at first you're trying to figure out, how do you pay yourself, and then eventually we ended up having some need for some help. And early on, we started using interns. Interns were something we used when I was at Special Operations Command, and that was pretty good. But then beyond that, we decided to start doing that here. So our very first employee was a chemical engineer, and she's been with us ever since. She's graduated in 2021 and has really grown, and it's been great. But all the interns have been fun to bring through. A lot of young folks. But then the other thing is a lot of small businesses do is we'll end up hiring friends and family. I hired a lady that used to live in my neighborhood. Both my parents work here, lots of friends. And so, as you kind of go through that in the early days, you're just trying to find people, you're trying to find good people. And then you hope they'll stick around for a while. When I worked at Battelle, a lot of those folks, they lived there or they worked there for about, 30, 40 years. And so for us, here at Omer, I was kind of expecting the same thing. And so, we just hire people, we keep them around for a long time. And sometimes that's true, and in some cases that's been true. Other cases it's not. And so quite a bit of turnover with interns. Part of that is just really, they're graduating, maybe they're busy with school. We also took a strategy of hiring more of a senior staff, folks that had already spent a career in maybe one area or another. And so most of our folks have been engineers that we brought on. So in some cases, we're trying to figure this out. We're trying to make sure that, we start doing some interviews. We don't really know, good questions necessarily to ask, and you're doing research, and so you're working through that. So what I really wanted to do today was share some of our lessons learned, things that have gone well, things that have not gone well, and kind of our best practices as of today. Again, we're almost 7 years in, and I think we've really honed in. Got quite a few openings right now. Just for a variety of reasons. We've got a few contracts coming in, largely software development contracts at this point, but there's also some hardware there too. So we're looking for engineers, we're looking for mid-level engineers, we're looking for brand new engineers, and we only hire U.S. citizens, so that makes it a little bit more complicated. We also like to get folks security clearance because some of the work that we do requires that. So those are kind of the things that we're working through. So, again, early on, we made some mistakes in hiring. We kept people along on the journey a little bit too long, and a lot of that was just, my thought was eventually you'll kind of get folks to grow and mature and maybe become part of the team. Sometimes that didn't happen. Sometimes folks just decide they want to do something else too, and that's great. So the newest kind of theme that we have is because it's a changing workforce dynamic. Our new standard is if you can come work for us for a couple of years, then it's pretty good. And so, if you've been there longer than 2 years, it's great. If you haven't been there with us a couple of years, then that we'd kind of really like to get that average up to at least 2 years. And so one of the things we've adopted is a multi-tier hiring process. So we're using our social media, the company's social media. We're also, talking to people that we see around, and we're just looking for really good people that have a great attitude and are willing to put in a good amount of effort. And that's been a common theme for us for a while is, people here that are successful have great attitudes, because I can teach you a lot of things, but I really can't change the attitude very quickly. And then you're willing to put in the effort to learn and things like that. And so that was a common theme when I was back at SOCOM, and that's really proved to be true here on the commercial side of things. So, like I said, we're in a multi-faceted hiring process. So we start off. We've got some core questions that we ask to kind of filter out some of the folks. One of those is, again, for us U.S. citizens. We also have an office that's in upstate New York that office is a bit remote, and so we want folks that are kind of in the local area. It's just a lot easier than trying to bring people up in there. Down here in Tampa, we're willing to kind of open up the aperture a little bit, and so we kind of ask that first set of questions early on. The next thing we do is we have a technical interview. So the technical interview, if you're in an engineering position, we may ask you to write a little bit of code. We might ask you some questions. Sales position, we may actually make some phone calls, talk to some folks. So depending on the position, we will have you come in here. We'll have you come to our morning meeting, which is pretty exciting, and then we'll have you go through this technical interview. And then finally, we'll have you come back for a third interview, and that's really a cultural or core values interview, and that's really when all the managers sit down with the candidate and really want to make sure that you're a good fit for our culture. So we'll ask you, hey, what is it that represents yourself well, or experience that you've had with regards to your core values, which are actually ours. We provide the core values at a time, and you get about 30 minutes to talk through that and meet the team and ask any questions. So we've been implementing that for the last 3-4 months. We've found some really great people. It's amazing. People always say that it's hard to find good people. I think we just got to keep looking for them because they're out there, and we've got a couple right now that we're really excited about. So that's kind of the how do we find the people? The next phase is how do we make sure that people are the right fit once they start. So a lot of times people are excited to come start a new job, and after a little while, sometimes that wanes a little bit, and a lot of that is because maybe you left your last job, you're excited about something, new opportunity, and then you kind of get into the next thing, and you're wondering if that's really the thing for you, or there's maybe some things that you were expecting that just weren't, that wasn't the way it was going to be. So as you're kind of working through that first 90 days, we're checking in with people early and often. We do a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day review, and if everything's going well, then obviously we'd love to keep them on. And then we'll keep on doing these check-ins. So we're checking in with folks every 2 weeks. We're doing one-on-ones with the managers. We're talking about goal setting, kind of the accomplishments that folks have done over the last couple of weeks, and then we kind of give them a bit of a training plan, things that we want them to work on to really be able to achieve those goals. And so that's worked out pretty well. And again, so we're right now kind of really implementing a lot of those things. And we're really trying to get people up and running quickly, because if you go back to what I was saying early on, is that we probably only have a couple of years out of the average employee. Maybe you get somebody for 4 years, maybe you get somebody long term. But if you're only going to average a couple of years out of folks, then you really need to kind of get them up and going pretty quickly. So those are our hiring processes that we're following right now. Would love to field any questions. Please click like the stream and comment or anything like that, or reach out directly. Happy to share some more details on kind of how we're doing that. But again, just kind of every week or so, I'm trying to bring to you some of the things that we're working on right now, and the things that we maybe struggling in some regards. And again, right now we're in a hiring frenzy. We're looking for software engineers, we're looking for program managers, we're looking for administrative specialists. We're looking for finance folks, and again, because we're in this huge period of growth right now, so it's an exciting time. So if you know anybody that's looking to work at a great technology company here in Tampa, then again, just reach out, and we'd love to hear about any of those great people that are looking for just an amazing opportunity. Have a great day, and hope we enjoy Veterans Day weekend.